For most of our lives, we were taught to delay enjoyment. You know, things like be responsible, work hard, save money, put other people first, and eventually, one day, our time would come. That was the deal. So we kept going through the stress, through the long working weeks, through the tiredness, through all of those moments where we quietly told ourselves later. Later when things calm down, later when the mortgage is gone, later when the kids are settled, and finally later when I retire. And I think something strange can happen when retirement finally arrives, because we discover that freedom is there, but mentally, emotionally, we're still waiting. We still hesitate. We still postpone things we struggle to fully relax into our own lives. And sometimes, if I'm honest, we can even feel guilty for enjoying ourselves. I've been thinking about this a lot recently, because I don't think this is really just about money. I think it's about what decades of postponing life does to us psychologically. We get so used to preparing for life, but when the moment finally arrives to actually live it, a part of us still doesn't quite know how. If you're new here or you're a returning viewer, my name's Paul and thanks for stopping by. I think it's important to say this first, because the habit of postponing enjoyment didn't come from weakness. For most of us, it came from responsibility. We had jobs, financial commitments, family, so postponing things often felt sensible. Necessary even. We became good at delaying gratification, good at enduring, good at putting our own wants further down the list. And honestly, that mindset probably has helped many of us build a decent life. It helped us survive the difficult years. It helped us create security. It helped us prepare for the future. But I think the difficult part is this. The mindset that helps us build a retirement is not always the same mindset that helps us enjoy it. Because after decades of saying, not now, maybe later, or one day, those thoughts don't automatically disappear just because work stops. And I think this is where many of us quietly get stuck. Retirement arrives physically, i.e. on the calendar day. But emotionally, part of us is still living in preparation mode. We still think maybe next year, maybe when things feel more secure, maybe when the markets improve, maybe when I feel more ready, maybe when life feels calmer. And before we realise it, years can start passing in exactly the same mindset we lived in during our working lives. You know, always preparing, always waiting, always thinking the real moment is still somewhere in the future. And I honestly think some of us retire, but never really stop rehearsing for retirement. And that can be hard to admit, because this was a chapter we worked for, wasn't it? This was a future version of ourselves we spent decades sacrificing for. Yet somehow, even after all those years, it can still feel difficult to fully arrive here. And personally, I don't think the struggle is usually around the financial stuff. Of course money matters, it absolutely does. But I think something deeper is often going on underneath it. Preparing feels safe, planning feels safe, delaying things can feel safe. But fully living in the present, well, that can feel surprisingly uncomfortable for people like us who spend decades being rewarded for discipline and restraint. And sometimes I think we become so used to productivity that just slowing down almost feels wrong. We can feel guilty resting, guilty spending, guilty enjoying ourselves without actually earning it. And underneath all of that, I think many of us are quietly trying to answer questions we never had the time to think about before. Who am I when I'm no longer constantly productive? What do I do with my freedom? Why does relaxing sometimes feel uncomfortable? Why do I keep waiting for life to start when logically I know it already has? I think these are very human struggles, and I suspect far more of us feel this way than we openly admit. And maybe this is the realisation I keep coming back to lately. The person we spent decades sacrificing is now for us. We are our future selves, because the future has arrived. This is the chapter we were working towards all along. And I think somehow we miss how significant that really is. Because there comes a point where constantly postponing joy no longer protects the future. It starts stealing from the present, especially when it comes to health, energy, mobility, and time. One thought that keeps coming back to me is this. Running out of life is a greater risk than running out of money. I made a specific video on this, which is linked above and below, so feel free to check it out. But the older I get, the more true that feels, because we tend to treat money as finite, while quietly assuming we'll always have more time later. Until one day we realise later has actually arrived. And this doesn't mean becoming reckless. It doesn't mean abandoning responsibility. I think it simply means recognising the difference between protecting our future and endlessly postponing our lives. And honestly, living now is often much quieter than people imagine. It's not always dramatic. It's not necessarily luxury or extravagance. Sometimes it's just allowing ourselves to start treating enjoyment like it's something that must be always earned first. Taking the trip, seeing friends, going out for lunch, just treating ourselves, and even having a day where you didn't do much in the grand scheme of things, but don't feel guilty for not being overly productive. Letting ourselves enjoy an ordinary Tuesday or Wednesday afternoon without feeling like we should be doing something more useful or productive. Because I reckon one of the saddest things that can happen is finally gaining control over our time while emotionally continuing to live life as though it hasn't properly started yet. And if I'm honest, I think many of us are far more exhausted from postponing ourselves than we actually realise. I'll leave you with this, and that is, one day quietly, that someday became now. The future arrived. And maybe the real challenge of retirement isn't simply learning how to stop working. Maybe it's learning how to stop waiting. Stop waiting for certainty. Stop waiting for perfect timing. Stop waiting for permission to enjoy the life we already spent decades earning. Because this isn't a rehearsal anymore. This is the chapter we were trying to reach all along. And perhaps the greatest tragedy isn't about running out of money. Rather, it's spending the healthiest years we still have left waiting to finally begin living. Well, I appreciate that was a bit deep, but I think it does put some perspective towards this. So what are your thoughts? If you're retired, do you still find yourself in your old life or in planning? Or if you're in the lead up phase to retirement, have you considered this? Leave a comment, guys, because I really genuinely love to hear from you. Share your thoughts and experiences. And as always, again, thanks for watching. I really appreciate that too. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.